Today's video, we're going to talk about the 5 things every contractor needs to know about their website before you start losing leads. Let's dive in. When we think of our website, we think of the culmination of everything our business does. Who we are, we explain our brand, our team, our services. Most people wouldn't think this, but your homepage, about page, and contact page are usually the most visited on any website, any industry, any service. Most people think, oh, they jump right to the services page. While that may be the case for some instances, a lot of the time, just general traffic numbers of number of page hits and visitors on a page leans towards those 3 home about contact, but then also time spent. I tell all of our customers we want to focus on an engaged customer, how much time they spend on the page, things like that, because that's going to inform the content we make. That's going to inform the marketing we may or may not include them in, things like that. So the number one thing when it comes to your contractor website, your home service professional website, it's not gonna be what you think it is. The location of all your credentials. We, I can't. This is a very strong topic for me. Very, very passionate about. Short story: we had a customer of ours come to us needing some kind of emergency website stuff, and long story short, we didn't have access to. They didn't have access to their domain name, hosting information, WordPress credentials. Because if you think about it like this, there are ways to eventually backdoor into the website. Let's say you don't have the WordPress user account, but you have your cPanel, which is your hosting, which that hosting leads to then your database. You can log in that way with some tweaks, but we had nothing. We had literally nothing that we could use to log into this customer's website. And it's not just a matter of, yes, this is their livelihood. We need to change out services pricing. But think about this from the owner's perspective. This is their livelihood. This is what they do day in, day out. And essentially they paid for a car they don't have the keys to or the title to. And a lot of it is rarely ever, luckily, out of spite or malice from the previous company or the designer. It's just an afterthought when it comes down to it. Because a lot of people want to focus on the very appealing, the sexy part of doing the website, the design, the mood board, your copy. And then once everything's live, everyone's so excited to hit the ground running. Because once your website's live, we're just getting started. Now it's time to really ramp up your marketing, and there's that really invigorating passion for things. People are not going to worry about your credentials. They just don't. So what we like to do is provide all of our customers with a website owner's manual, 1 to 3 pages, focusing on everything I mentioned here: your website hosting information, your WordPress information, database info, DNS, where your domain is purchase, the domain registrar you may hear referred to as. If there's any ongoing monthly subscriptions for like email marketing or text marketing, maintenance, those are all included. A single source of truth, hit by a bus plan, if you will, that our customers can give to usually 1 or 2 trusted people in their company, their spouse, things like that, just because we don't want to be the single key holder for any of our company websites. That's not the game we're in. That's not what we want to do. It's a liability to us, and they paid for the service. They paid for the website, so they need to have ownership. If they want to go to work for someone else, they hand them that owner's manual that we made them. Easy peasy. We're all off to the sunset. The second thing is maintaining freshness. When I mentioned this, make sure you're uploading job site pictures, updating your team page, adding reviews. Google likes to see regular updates to your website. I'd just say at least once a month to kind of make some content, some tweaks, things like that. Treat this different than your Google business profile. Your GBP is certainly something daily, every other day, definitely weekly. Website is not needed as much because it is a lot of work. A lot of the time, you just get that lumped into your care plan where you can go through each week or each month and have some changes done. But always maintain the freshness of that, because a lot of the time when it comes to, let's say, remodeling services, certain designs, and unfortunately sometimes the camera quality of jobs is not the best, and in 2025 you can tell there's no knock to the quality of the work being performed that I look at in a case study, but you want to show you're really proud of your work. You want to show that off. High quality camera, most new smartphones are good now, so just maintain the freshness and the high quality of your work and your site, and it'll go a long way building trust, the know and trust factors with your audience. Third one, Where you thought we're probably going to head, get a bit more techie, is a hosting speed. You've seen probably a dozen different ways to test your hosting speed with Google Page Insights. Pingdom is one, GT Metrics. I got a good one for you. Take your phone out, load your website, take your laptop out, load your website, go to a coffee shop, load your website. 3 seconds or more is too slow. That's the general operating benchmark of you're losing leads if it takes longer than 3 seconds to load your site. Don't worry about the different tools and metrics. That's where someone like myself would come in to see, okay, why is it slow? Usually know, okay, is it slow? What you could check is your image sizes. A lot of the time, the phone images, unless you load the optimized one, they're going to be really heavy on the site, on the server. So you can check that. But once you get past that, just don't worry too much about getting into the weeds of it. Find someone in your circle you can talk with about it. But if you're not getting leads, check your hosting speed. That's definitely something that we have seen be a common occurrence in the past for our customers. Basic maintenance schedule. We have a video later coming out on the channel that will go over what would be included and what makes up a maintenance schedule. But a lot of the websites need to be updated. Think about this as think about your website as your truck, as your fleet of vehicles. You get your oil change, you get your tires rotated, balanced. We just had my wife's tire replaced. So just like those very key pieces of your business, of your operations, your website needs that same maintenance at a different level. So think about a basic maintenance schedule. I'd focus on making sure things are updated, making sure you have backups. You can go directly, usually through your hosting provider, and make sure your website's backed up. And then the last thing I would make to think, most hosting providers would have a vulnerability kind of security scan that you can add into that basic maintenance schedule. If it doesn't, don't worry about it now. Like I said, the next video will kind of go over more tools for that. Number 4, basic maintenance schedule. So when we talk about this, think about your website similar to your truck, your fleet of vehicles. This is a very vital piece of your operations in your business. Just like your truck, you need to get your digital oil changed, if you will, tires rotated, balanced, things like that. So we like to recommend a few different key points to this. Number 1, go through your user names and passwords. If there's any old team members that need to be deleted, get rid of them. This goes for all your key business software, but definitely your website. Also, we've seen a lot of people maybe left over in their marketing software, maybe MailChimp, things like that. Always double check that. The other thing would be make sure your plugins and themes, your software essentially, is updated. Be careful with this one because usually now there's enough testing done during the development phase to where everything is good to go in terms of you're just not going to break your site or anything, but make sure you have backups in place before you do this. Most of your hosting providers will have backups, like GoDaddy has built in if you're on a certain level of plan. So make sure the backups are in place and then go through with your updates. We'll have a video later on this channel, the next video after this one actually, a deep dive of what a maintenance plan looks like. Focus on those. And the last one would be security. So most managed hosting providers, if you have that, will have a security scan built in. Vulnerabilities. You can also, maybe not something you would be too keen to do, but there's a few blogs like WP Tavern has a good kind of feed of just like things to look out for. But like I said, the first 2 or 3 I mentioned, that's your basic maintenance plan that'll have you covered most of the way for that. So the last number 5, the last one is monitor your leads coming in and your forms. So no one knows your business better than you. No one knows the marketing you're doing, where your message is being shared, things like that. So make sure, let's say you have a new radio campaign coming out, test your forms. We recommend testing every quarter, every 3 months. Test your forms, make sure people get notifications, should be, or maybe if they shouldn't be, remove them from the flow. A lot of the time, unless you have your configuration set up, those notifications from your form software, form plugin or CRM may get lost in spam. Check that. It's always just good, kind of little wellness check, if you will, little quarterly physical for your website's forms. Make sure they're being tracked and everything. Attribution, we'll later video, but that usually what I would do is include in your form how'd you hear about us, radio, TV, social media. That way you don't have to worry about the tracking back end. That's something where I would come in and look at. So if you don't have it already, add in how'd you hear about us on your form. That way it'll give you a very top level way to see what's working and what's not. But yeah, that's pretty much what I like to recommend is the top 5 things to do for any contractor or home service professional websites. If you want your very own website owner's manual template to build yours off of, please comment manual down below in the comments, but also feel free, there's a link in the description below to opt in for that. I'll send you one. And also we'll have, if you go to webski.io/GBP, we have a 6 tips for using Google Guide, completely free, that you can use. Takes the next step. Once your website's ready to go, your Google business profile will then get the love and care from that guide, and you're set up for success. So thank you all for watching this. Feel free to like and subscribe. I'll probably link a video here, whatever direction it's going to be, to keep watching if you're interested. And I hope you all like the context of this video. Thanks. Have a great day.